According to the CDC, nearly 61% of all adults have experienced at least one form of childhood trauma. Research also shows that individuals with multiple adverse reactions to childhood experiences are 4 times more likely to develop a substance use disorder later in life. My name is Samantha Sheely. I am in long-term recovery from substance use disorder, and many of those patterns that researchers describe closely relate to my own experiences. And today I want to provide information about what research says, not to just persuade, but to also explain. Understanding childhood trauma helps us better understand why addictions form, how emotional development is affected, and why healing early experiences is important for long-term well-being. Today I'm going to explain 3 things. First, how childhood trauma increases addiction risk. Second, how trauma affects emotional development in the inner child. And third, what researchers say about healing and resilience. Let's begin by looking at how childhood trauma influences addiction risk. Adverse childhood experiences, often called ACE scores, include things like emotional or physical abuse, neglect, witnessing violence, or losing a parent early in life like I did. According to Ahmed in a 2023 article from the Archives of Clinical Psychiatry, individuals with adverse childhood experiences have significantly higher odds of developing substance use disorders as adults. Similarly, a 2021 article in the Michigan Academician found a clear connection between early trauma and lifetime substance use. In my own life, multiple traumatic events occurred before adolescence, including instability, witnessing overdoses, and losing my mother. These experiences reflect what research describes, that early trauma can create emotional patterns that continue into adulthood. Researchers also help to explain why this happens. A 2010 study by Douglas and colleagues in addictive behaviors found that mood and anxiety disorders partially explain the connection between adverse childhood experiences and later substance dependence. And in 2024, Magoya and colleagues reported in the Journal of Mental Health Counseling that adults with childhood trauma experiences have higher rates of both substance use and poor mental health. Trauma doesn't only increase risk, it also shapes how developing minds learn and understand emotions and those relationships. The inner child refers to the younger parts of ourselves that carry early memories, fears, and unmet emotional needs. Trauma researchers have long identified its influence on emotional regulation, identity, formation, and the ability to maintain stable relationships. Leza and colleagues wrote in 2021 in Drug and Alcohol Dependence that ACE scores increase, the likelihood of developing a substance use disorder also rises. For many people, including myself, adult emotional reactions often reflect patterns formed in childhood. Trauma can cause the nervous system to remain on high alert or shut down during stress, shaping how a person copes long before substances ever enter the picture. Research also helps us understand what healing can look like for people with these early experiences. The inner child healing focuses on understanding emotional triggers and unmet needs from childhood. Trauma-informed therapy is one approach. It helps individuals trace emotional reactions back to the experiences that shaped them. Douglas and colleagues found that emotional support significantly reduces the long-term effects of adverse childhood events. Self-awareness practices, which include mindfulness and grounding, also support emotional regulation by helping to calm the nervous system. Many people in recovery, including myself, find that understanding emotional patterns from childhood allows for healthier responses to stress, which aligns with what the research describes. Healing does not erase trauma. There's nothing that can do that. But it changes how a person understands themselves and how they respond to those emotions. With these points in mind, we can bring everything together. So, as I explained, childhood trauma increases the risk of addiction. It also shapes emotional development and how the inner child feels, and how research-supported healing strategies can help build long-term resilience. Childhood trauma has a lasting impact on mental health, but understanding these early experiences can help us as individuals make sense of emotional patterns and create healthier paths forward.